Before I start, let me just say that I already know how much of a horrible person I am. I know I have no one else but myself to blame, so please don't comment if you just want to give me rubbish, because I assure you, right now, it's not possible for me to feel any worse than I already do. The title pretty much explains what happened, but just for some more context, I'll explain the circumstances. I was at a work event after which my colleagues and I went to have some drinks. After having argued with my husband beforehand and feeling slightly tipsy, I kissed my coworker back, and long story short, I ended up spending the night at his place. It was instant regret. I couldn't get out of his house quick enough, and I couldn't believe that I had just betrayed my husband, the love of my life, the man I vowed to be with through thick and thin. I tried to forget about what happened. I took steps at work to make sure my contact with my coworker was limited. I also made sure he and I were on the same page that what happened was a mistake and will never have happen again. Also the fact that we won't meet except in a professional manner. I thought about telling my husband. We tell each other everything. I didn't know if this would be the end for us or not, but I knew that I messed up and had to face the consequences. However, I just couldn't muster the courage to tell him. I was scared of hurting him, breaking his heart, and also for myself. I do truly love him. I thought I should let it go, not tell him and make it up by being the wife he deserves. I thought I'd live with this secret, and that is punishment enough for me. He wrote a beautiful message for me on Valentine's, and that's when I broke down. I couldn't stop crying, and after he was being so caring and concerned for me, I knew I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep it in, and I told him. He left that evening without saying a word. I tried getting in touch, but to no avail. He came home the next day, and after I told him everything he wanted to know, I asked him if he could forgive me, if we could continue our relationship. I told him how I was willing to do anything to earn his trust back. He said he was willing to work on us. I took this as a chance which I didn't deserve. I didn't want to do anything to mess this up. I knew I broke his heart, his trust, and that I would have to work extra hard to gain it all back. The following week was hard, really hard. I wanted to give him his space. I knew he needed some time to process things, but I also wanted to let him know I am grateful for him not giving up. I would cook his favorite meals, which he would always make excuses as to why he couldn't eat. I don't blame him. I broke him, and I know we can't just go back to normal. I know me being nice to him and trying won't just magically heal the wounds. I'd always put a smile on my face, even though I was hurting inside because of what I've done. I know it's my fault the situation is like this, but I still can't help being upset about it. We had our first counseling session yesterday. His suggestion, it feels like a step in the right direction, but I don't know what more I can do. I don't know if he will ever be able to truly forgive me, and the thought of that is killing me. I just want to know if anyone else has been in this situation and has managed to make it work. I know it will never be the same, but what should I do? What can I do? Again, I know it's my own fault for being in this situation. I know I don't deserve a second chance and that my husband does deserve a lot better. But it's evident that he loves me as much as I do him, and this honestly was a one-time mistake. My 35 male wife, 34 female, wants to cancel the divorce after finding out about a new woman, 24 female, I was seeing. My wife and I have been married since 2008. I am 34, and she is 35. There has been a lot of conflict in our marriage. From the start of our union, it felt like we jumped into things a little too soon. We had only dated for 6 months prior to getting married, and had our daughter shortly after. My wife felt that she fell behind in the life game of having children, getting married, so she wanted to play catch up on life. This too caused a lot of conflicts because we initially planned before getting married that we would wait at least a year before trying for kids. However, my wife admitted to me later that she went off birth control a month before the wedding. However, despite our initial fighting, we managed to keep our relationship afloat. However, it seemed that after we conceived for our second child, my wife lost all interest in sex. She would often make excuses to go to bed early. It got to a point where I felt like we were roommates. However, I didn't really want to be the one to have our children grow up in a broken home. About 3 months ago, my wife pretty much dropped the ball. She said that she agrees that we rushed into things, and she doesn't think there is chemistry between us. I kind of was happy that she did it, because I knew I wasn't going to be the one to pull the trigger. We didn't file divorce proceedings, but we did start sleeping in separate beds, and it was accepted that things were over. From my office, there was always this girl that looked up to me. I was her supervisor when she interned in college. She has asked me to join her for lunch a couple times before, and this time when I saw her, I accepted her offer. We started talking a good bit. I wanted to see her outside of work, so I went on a date with her. Prior to doing so, I ran by my wife and asked her if she was okay with this. That if she wanted me to wait till after the divorce was done, I'd understand. I guess it took her by surprise, but she accepted. We went on the date together and had a good time. When I got home, I went to go sleep, but my wife woke me up and started asking about how it went. I told her it was fun and tried to leave it at that, but she was really curious. Not in an angry way either, just purely curious. Things started to get weird after that. My wife woke me up by sitting on top of me and grinding her crotch on mine. Throughout the day she started asking me for a picture of what she looks like, so that way she knows if it is someone dangerous I am letting into my life, who might hurt our kids. I told her her name, and I guess she found pictures of her on FB. After that, she got obsessed with her. When her friends were over, I overheard her showing them her FB account and talking about how pretty the girl is. My wife also said that she isn't sure about us breaking up. When I went to go to sleep, my wife jumped into bed with me and kept trying to fool around with me. I feel as if the only reason she has found such interest in me again is because I found someone else. I want our children to grow up in a two-parent household, but I feel like this is just a ploy. I feel that my wife doesn't really have any interest in me.